you're listening to Carpool Theology. We're your hosts. I'm Grace.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Shanah.
And we are on the road to discover who we are in light of who God is. We are going to be joined by friends, leaders, and authors to discuss the intersection of faith and action. And we're going to have a ton of fun while doing it. So grab your coffee. Let's roll. Woo. All right, y'all. Welcome to Carpool Theology.
Oh, we got an extra
It's been a minute. It's been so long.
We back.
We're so back.
We are.
Gosh, it feels good.
Look at this guy.
Yes.
We are
And you know, it's supposed to
forever.
rain too, which reminds me of the early days.
Oh,
The early days.
So much rain.
Twas about this time last year.
Yeah.
That
you guys,
we
we're
were-
almost in our anniversary times.
Yeah, we were brainstorming together.
Our podiversary.
yes.
When did we go to Java and have this whole discussion?
It was like October,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I think so.
Because we went to Zion in September.
Yep.
And then, I think it was like October, November.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
Wow. Well, y'all, we're back.
We're
We're
back.
here in the
Mhm.
car. We're so
Mhm.
excited. We really missed you.
Mhm.
Honestly, actually, you might have heard some episodes by the time this comes out, but we haven't recorded together in a minute, so we're just excited. It's good to be back together. What's been happening, you guys? What's going on? We haven't recorded in months.
Well, just a gazillion things for each of us.
Yeah. Life got insane.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, honestly, nothing out of the norm. Life's just normally kind of wild.
Yeah, and fall is always busy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Regardless of your walk of life. And then we did conferences and girls' events.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yep.
all kinds
I
of things.
felt like I was out of town for 1,000,000 years.
You were.
Yeah.
You
But
were.
feels good to be back in the saddle.
Yeah. Just in time for the holidays when things really settle down and get peaceful and quiet.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Shanah.
You guys looked at me like, is she serious right now?
When
Punch her in the face.
What's happening?
all as moms and as women, we can just sit around, drink coffee, and snuggle up with a blanket.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do.
That's it.
Yeah. Not calendar shifting and organizing pictures and
No.
Bringing holiday magic
Yeah.
everywhere I go.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start with a little mommy moment.
Oh yeah.
Because this little season of pods are about self-care. So yours truly won an Instagram facial.
Bow, 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 bow.
No. So she won a giveaway.
I won a giveaway
at a
for a
very
reputable spa.
well-known spa.
What was the name of the spa?
Should I say?
No.
No.
Okay.
We like to keep the names out of the pod.
All right. Okay.
Unless they're a sponsor. Thank you.
Cup of joy.
Speaking of sipping my delicious golden joy.
Thank you, Cup of Joy.
So I go in for this. I research this facial I want because I've never heard of this facial before. And I'm like, and I've been in the spa industry here and there.
Called the blood sucker.
It was a plasma facial. And I thought,
AKA
oh my
the blood
gosh,
sucker.
they're going to take out my blood and spin the
Well,
plasma out.
when
and
you
then-
messaged us about it, you're
And
like,
then they inject it back in?
Into your
That's what I
face.
thought. All of my research pointed to that.
when
Oh
you
my
face
gosh.
memoed us, when you FaceTimed, left us a video over
Yeah,
text.
I've gone to sending my friends
Whatever I'm trying to
videos.
say. She goes, from my research, the plasma is pulled out of my body and then moved to the other side of my face.
Why?
What does
we're
that
like,
mean?
What does it even mean?
What does it mean?
What does
I don't
it
know.
mean?
I don't know.
So what was it
I
though?
went within a lot of questions.
I need to know.
And they walk me over to the med spa. And you guys, I am me. So I'm in my giant sweatpants and my vintage flannel that's 4 times too big for me.
It's great.
And I'm like, go in there, and they're like, okay, so first, we're gonna do some numbing cream on your face, which I sent photos of. They put this numbing cream on my face a half an inch thick, and then they leave me for 30 minutes, and then they're all, would you like a Bellini? I'm like,
yes, I do. That's
I'm
what
like,
I hope
well,
you
I
said,
did drink my
yes.
cucumber water, so yes, I would like a Bellini. Yes, I probably should have one of those. And I'm like, have you guys gotten this fish? They're like, oh no, not this one. I'm like, oh gosh, what's happening right now?
Mean.
So then the nurse comes in, and she's not super friendly, but she's very professional. I feel
Okay.
very safe in her gloved hands.
Okay.
And then she gets out these things, and she's like, yeah, you really won't feel anything because of the numbing cream, and you'll be a little swollen the next day, and blah blah blah. And then she starts using this tool on my face. It is literally burning the skin off of my face. It smells like burnt skin and hair.
You're nervous laughing.
And I'm like, oh wow, oh. And then she's like, it's like my nose and everything, and my face is just like raw. I sent you guys a video afterwards.
It was.
It was raw and shiny and glowy, and then it scabbed up a couple of days later, and sloughed all of that off. I got to exfoliate finally last night, but this gal tells me I'm leaving the chair, and I'm like, okay, like that was over. I'm really sweaty right now, but it's fine. I'm gonna look gorgeous, I bet. And she goes, don't wear makeup for 2 or 3 days, and I'm like,
Makeup for 4 days.
whose life do you think I have? That I can just sit in my mansion for 3 or 4 days and not wear makeup?
I'm crying right now.
That is not my
I
life.
love that you correspond a no makeup life with a
Mansion.
mansion.
Yeah, it's the only correlation there is.
Man, where's my mansion? Because I be living that life. I don't have a mansion though.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make that correlation until I saw the price of the facial that I had won, and I was like, oh, she thinks I have a mansion I can sit in for a while while my people do all the things I need done.
Mhm.
Oh,
But
yes.
anyway, I'm very happy with my skin right now. Like, I feel like I look 10 years younger.
At the end of the day, she had a lot of criticisms, and long story short, Shanah is recommending the bloodsucker facial
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Skin
all.
off.
Yeah, burn
Yeah.
your skin off, gals.
in the name
Burn
of
it off.
self-care.
Don't do it in the back of a van.
Do not. Do not
Somebody
get
pulls up and says, hey, you won this from Instagram. And be like, nah, you're going to
Yeah,
want to make
no.
sure you go to a reputable
Oh
place.
gosh.
Yes.
But yeah.
I love that journey for you, Shanah. It sounds like there was a lot of ups and downs, but you made it on the other side.
And I was telling myself there's so much mystery surrounding it when I went in. I was like, you get one wild life. You get one
wild life.
life.
Why
Yeah.
not pull the plasma out of your face and put it back in?
Yeah, what else am I going to say I could do
Wild
that?
life.
That's it, brother.
Oh my gosh.
Put that plasma on the other side of your
Say about
face.
that.
That's right.
Woo! Well, what a time. I love that for you. That is a self-care journey. It is, really. My self-care journey the last couple days was making sure my tonsils got back to the normal size.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you have strep?
I did have strep. I'm on an antibiotic. Everyone in this car is
Perfect.
safe.
So sorry.
But it was horrible. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a terrible, terrible time. So
No joke.
it was
My
not a
text
joke,
message
no.
threads were very quiet. And so was the Instagram. I knew she was back when I saw the things comes through, and I'm like, she's back.
Right?
Here she is.
For like 3 days.
Yeah, it's
I
wow,
but to the point where I was like so sick I couldn't be on my phone.
Oh,
So I just
man.
would like literally, I was on my phone.
Unlike the brain fog.
Yeah, the brain fog. I did watch some shows, I'm not gonna lie, and I watched some movies, so that was good.
Okay,
But
give us some highlights. What'd you watch?
I watched Elvis.
Oh, how was that?
How was it?
It was good. It's a little dark. It's sad. I mean, he has a sad life.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Is
a little
that a
tragic.
movie or a show?
It's a movie with Austin Butler. The context there is that Austin Butler was a Disney Channel prince and became Elvis. So everyone's making fun of the fact that for 2 years he trained to be Elvis, and so his voice drastically changed, and his voice still to this day sounds a little bit like Elvis. Like
Wow.
it's still down here when it talks. And so it's really funny, like when you do an interview, like if you hear him on an interview, because of course, you watch a movie and then I have to deep dive on YouTube, like,
Sure.
who is this man now? And so he was like,
Yeah, I totally agree.
yeah, right, totally. It's
Do you do
totally
that
normal.
too?
No.
Okay, good. I
It's
don't
a
either.
totally normal
do.
situation.
I do.
Thank you, Allie.
Yes.
I do not.
Have you taken your strengths assessment?
I have, yeah.
Okay, I'm like, do you have input in your top 10?
Yes.
I was going to say, do you have input?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I love information.
Yes, you do.
So yes. Anyways, that definitely happened for me. It was good. That was a highlight. Yeah. I mean, you guys know me. My normal reality situations. You guys, we don't need to go down those rabbit trails.
No, we don't. We know.
But
People know. The people know.
the people know that I have a soft spot for reality TV. Holler.
Holler.
So, anyways, well, I think enough of that.
Let's get into it.
Transition. Let's transition out of that.
What do we have in the car?
Just a chaotic carpool morning is all.
We have one of my favorite people in the
a
car.
true gem to Fresno.
True gift to
Aw.
all she knows. My friend Allie Brewer.
Hey, Allie.
Woo!
I'm really happy to be here. So thanks you guys for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. We've been trying to get you into the car for a while now.
I know. I know the stars have
Allie,
aligned.
I'm going to toot your horn a little bit.
Okay, toot it.
Because you're good at a lot of things, but you're just not great at this. Allie is a speaker and a Bible teacher and a Bible study writer. She is a communicator and empowerer of women.
Hop off, Shanah.
I know. I am not even done yet. She has 3 amazing kids that are very unique and loves them all very uniquely. She is a warrior mama and a dear, dear soul.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. That's
I
my
could go on and on.
introduction.
We have limited time here.
Thanks,
So-
Shanah. I really appreciate
Allie
that.
Brew, tell the people what you want. What should we know about you? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm almost 50. I'm creeping up on it in the next like 7 or 8 months here. And so I've been doing a lot of introspection myself in my own life as like I'm coming up on this big milestone. And my life for most of the people that know me has drastically shifted in the past few years. I like to say that I'm living in a story that I never would have planned for, that I never wanted, that but life happened and things really upended and kind of burned down in a spectacular epic dumpster fire
Oh, love it.
in 2020, and my whole life is rearranged. And so one of the things now that looks different is I was a stay-at-home mom who was a homeschool mom, and I was a speaker and a writer and did all of those things in my free time, which let's put that in air quotes when you are a full-time stay-at-home mama, because there's no such thing. And like we were talking earlier about like the making the magic happen. I feel like it's like the mental load of doing all of those things. So that began to change though, because I needed to actually bring money into my family, and like all of our family dynamics shifted drastically when my husband and I separated and then later divorced. And I became it. I was the person who did all things. And so one of the things I did is I thought, okay, what am I going to do? Because now I have to recreate this life where I'm still in charge of 3 people who are now 3 hurting people and myself, and trying to manage shepherding all of that. And then at the same time, how am I going to actually financially provide for all of us in this space as well? And I know I kept thinking, well, I could just go get a job at Amazon, or I can go down to Walmart. But at the time I was like 46 years old and like 47. What am I going to do? How am I going to make enough money and actually still be able to be present? And so I thought, all right, what skills do I have? What do I have inside here that can create something healthy and also give me time and space to be with my people? Like, what can I charge enough for that will be a fair trade of time so that I still have time left over? So I had previously taken a strengths assessment, a Clifton strengths assessment with one of my friends who is a strengths consultant and coach. And I just fell in love with it. I love the entire idea of it. I love the plan. I love every single thing about this model. And she is a consultant, a coach, and said, Allie, I think that you should go through this certification, go through the Gallup training, and figure this out so that you can do this as well, because you can work in the professional development sphere, in the coaching sphere, either doing one-on-one coaching or working with organizations. So that's what I did. I went through the training, and that's what I do. So part of my time is spent working with individuals one-on-one and more of a coaching type of a session, that kind of way. I'm also really wanting to do a lot more with marriages. I'd like to branch more into doing some of that stuff because I think that it's helpful work between couples and families. Like, I'd love to do family stuff as well. We talk a lot about strengths at home and how it can impact our parenting and our relationships, and it's been really fabulous on that scene as well. And I also recently obtained the 501c3, or the nonprofit. Oh gosh, what is the word?
Status.
Thank you. So I received my nonprofit status, and now I'm getting to work with former foster youth, and I'm hoping to start working with victims of domestic violence.
Wow.
So that's really kind of where I'm headed, and also even working within the church or other nonprofit sphere, because a lot of times in nonprofits there's not the funding that is usually present for other organizations in the corporate world to do professional development that really build up the team. So that's kind of where I'm heading, is having one foot in the nonprofit world and one foot in the for-profit world, and still parenting my people and, trying to make it all happen one little day at a time. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oof,
I
I
know, that's kind of a
love
lot.
it. No, it's so many threads to pull out there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So Allie came to our team, like in our church, and and she did our strengths when we had a new team member come in, and it was just really, really helpful and beautiful. So we'll put her contact info and so that you guys can get a hold of that. But Allie, you're very passionate about a lot of things.
I am.
Connecting with people is,
Yes.
if I had to assign you one, that would probably be it. But tell us about, like, why is it important for people to know their strengths or to know themselves?
Oh man, where do I even begin? I feel like I can. How far are we driving? Are we going to Bakersfield? Okay, so one of the things I love about Clifton Strengths, Donald Clifton, who is the father of, or the founder of the Clifton Strengths and Gallup itself, says that we need to switch our mindset into a strength-based mindset and away from a deficit-based mindset. And I think that when you begin to understand what is good and right about you, it enables you to really lean into the things that you're going to naturally be successful at, the things that you're going to naturally do well. You're going to become the very best version of yourself. And it also helps to direct you in the way of, okay, these are the lanes, these are the things that I'm good at. These are the things that I am naturally hardwired to do well. And so if I can focus my experience, my information, my knowledge, my education, all of those practices around what I'm naturally going to do well, then you're going to be extremely successful. So like one of the things I loved that he said is that the most successful people in the world are not well-rounded. And I just, oh man, I grabbed onto that because it's like, okay, well, the most successful people in the world have figured out what they're naturally good at, and then they just pour gasoline on that thing.
Yeah.
I feel like In-N-Out is a great example of that.
Absolutely.
Right?
We do a few things really, really well, and we stick to that, and we sell $1 bazillion.
Ooh, and I feel like the magic, the hardest part of that is that some of the most influential, like, successful people we know are really, really good at a couple things, but then they're not so kind or not so healthy at another group of things.
Yeah.
And so maybe the thing there is figuring out, how do I do my things really, really well and throw gasoline on it and also not be a detriment to those around me or my team or
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the things that keeps coming back is in the book, The Gift of Being Yourself, David Benner, one of my favorites, talks about, to really know God, you must know yourself. And to really know yourself, you must know God.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that's a huge part of what you do. So tell us about, like, what you do for that. How's that?
Okay, so for me, I believe all humans are made in the image of God, right? We are made, that's what we carry, this piece of, we reflect who God is. And, you even think about, well, the body of Christ. This is made up of so many different parts. And if one part's not functioning well, the rest of it's not functioning very well. You can't just say, well, you're not important or this isn't important.
Right.
And I think that people are they're made so vastly differently, so that when we understand, okay, this is what is really good and right about me, and this is what I contribute when I show up. Like even how God's word says that everyone shows up and brings a hymn, a song, a spiritual word. You're bringing who you are to the body of Christ. And I think that church, I'm a big believer that church happens all the time, everywhere. This is church. Okay, like church happens in my home. Church happens when I'm on a phone call with a friend. Church happens all the time. And so when I am understanding like what's good and right about me, and I'm bringing that, and I'm focusing on developing that thing because it's important to do, right? Because I'm actually developing the gifts that God has put inside of me, and I'm developing this reflection of who God is in the world. I'm getting to live that piece out. And when we show up really underdeveloped, or we say, well, that doesn't matter, I'm just going to do this, or we have this negative self-image, what a man thinks in his heart, so he is, right? Like, this is what we know. What all of our beliefs fuel our behavior. And so when we can't believe the right things about ourselves and other people, it's going to affect that negatively. So I love when we say we have to know ourselves really to know God, and to really know God, we have to know ourselves, because these two things are so intrinsically linked, because, we're made in the image of our Creator.
Everyone these days has a podcast, even us. Do you want to make a podcast? You totally should. Spotify's got a platform that lets you make it one super easy and then distribute it everywhere, even earn money. All in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is, you can start creating today. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. We've been using Spotify for Podcasters since the very beginning, and I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
I love what you said about, our beliefs. I think you said influence our behavior.
Yeah.
That's so true. I think we can get away with that. Like, I can be a really kind person, but still think really negatively about myself.
Yeah. It leaks out.
Yeah, totally. It leaks out. Or our insecurities come out to play more.
Absolutely.
Our insecurities, our feelings like other people are better than us. Whatever lie narrative we're telling ourselves, fictional narrative is going to play out in different ways. But we think it's okay. Like, it's, for so long in ministry, I know for me, I operated out of like, this is a beautiful story. The gospel is a beautiful story, but it's for everyone else but me. So I'll keep ministering and I'll keep doing the things because I know it's a good thing, but it's just not for me. But that leaks out, right? Into everything.
Absolutely.
We can't operate that way. It's not healthy.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of my next question. Like, how do we address the people? Because there are some people that I feel like you can either go two ways down, like a pretty slippery slope of like, you know what? Like, I don't need to like navel gaze and just like be so self-centered. Of who am I? I don't need to do that. I just need to do the Great Commission. I just need to be in God's word and like talking to his people. And then you have the person that's like, well, this is just how I am.
Yeah. Or they weaponize it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm just an Enneagram 8. And
Yeah.
so I am this
So you
way.
got to take it.
Tough, cookie.
Tough cookies for everyone else.
Tough cookie for everyone else. This is just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, I think those are both two slippery slopes. And I think anything that you understand about yourself, any type of personality assessment or test, anything that you're doing, you need to be asking yourself the question, like, to what end, right? To what end am I doing this? Because if it's, you can get to the point where people would say like navel gazing, where all you're doing is, looking inward and never having it like inform what's outward, right? So sure, to what end? And I even think, well, to what end are you weaponizing this information you have about yourself to excuse your poor behavior and your immaturity? Okay, that's never going to be the goal of any type of personality test, assessment, or work that you're doing on yourself. Any work that you're doing on yourself would be to the end product of of living the Great Commission out. How are you going to live out the Great Commission when you are so stuck or so wounded or not living in really the true identity that God has you to be living out of? Wow. So I think that all of that work, you have to be careful to not, of course, go down either of those paths, and just ask yourself, well, what is the fruit of this? To what end am I doing this? And what is it actually, how's it actually manifesting in my life?
Yeah.
God talks about how he partners with us to will and to do the good works he set before us to walk in. And we can't walk in those pointing people more clearly to him if we've got all this junk in our strainer getting in the way.
Yeah.
So I think what assessments do for me and why I love them so much isn't because I'm just so like enamored with myself. It's so that I can get the stuff out of the way so that the gospel can really be on display in me, so that my windows aren't dirty in my house on the hill.
Yeah.
So my little light can shine.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I would say for me, this whole conversation, and I'm a little quiet because I think I didn't really realize how much this would bring up in me. So I would say I'm like a recovering, I don't even know how to like identify it, but for me, a big part of my testimony is the Lord used my business and self-glorification and hustle culture to bring me to my knees. And so for me, this is a hard conversation because I still have a hard time entering into these spaces healthily. Because for me, the majority of how this was taught to me and how I learned to find your strengths was by your own strength. And so what was missing out of all that was the gospel. And so I still struggle. Like I still again have a hard time like entering into this conversation well, because I think I am so weary about, I'm just being like super honest.
Oh, I love it.
I'm so weary. And if someone is listening that also maybe like got sucked into like, you can do it all yourself.
Yeah.
You just need to like know what you're good at and then hustle towards it. If you identify with me as this, it's like, I think what I'm learning and what I've learned and what I'm hearing you say, Allie, too, in this is like a good barometer for to what end, or a good barometer for, is this a healthy approach? Is like, is the person and or organization and or I don't know, coach that you are investing in and or trying to, you know, I don't know, trust and spend time with to help you identify your strengths, do they align with your beliefs, and do they value what's true about you, that you are Christ's workmanship first and foremost, right? And so I think what I know about myself is I got so sucked into, there was none of that in there, like in that language, that language was not included in any of this language that we're talking about, which is, you need to know these things so that, okay, what's the so that? Is the so that you can glorify you, so that you can do better, so you can get ahead, so that you can succeed? Or is it so that you can represent Christ's kingdom and partner with him for the good of his people? Right. And so I don't know, I get like, I'm a little like,
it starts to feel a little bit, ooh, where is it gonna go?
Right. Well, and I think that it has a lot to do also with the way we view God, our actual theology of like, if you view God and your relationship with God as like, I am just a sinner, like I come and not a saint, like I haven't crossed over into that sainthood. If we just believe that I'm still wretched and depraved and I have nothing left to offer, then it is just about like, I can't be a part of this conversation. But if I believe that I am reconciled, I am a daughter, a son of the Most High God, that he's adopted me, that I'm a
fearfully
saint,
and wonderfully
right,
made,
that my identity has now shifted. It is still not about me, but it is about whose I am. And if whose I am has created me with all of my strengths and my gifts and my weaknesses and my irks and my quirks, then he will have his good and perfect work done in me. Amen, and use me to his end. So I think
it's
it
really easy too to trust the Lord with our weaknesses. But what does it look like to trust him with our strengths?
Right, and not go where Alex is talking about.
Yes. Where it becomes more of a driver, because it sounds like that information has been utilized to become more of a driver for you in the past, or pushing you down a path of like, do more, do more, do more, do more. And that's actually, you know, that's not it.
Exactly.
That's not it.
That ain't it.
That ain't it, you know? Yeah, and I can see absolutely where that goes. And why that it would be that way. It's like, I need to know more so that I can do more. I need to know more so that I can do more. And I think that's really, even in the work that I do in one-on-ones and in different organizations, that's never the end. In fact, one of the things that I love probably the most about what I get to do is help people feel known and seen. And so not only do they feel known themselves, which that's like an awesome piece of what I get to do, But probably what I love the most is to sit in a group of people and go, hey, I want to introduce my friend Shanah to you through the lens of her strengths. Like, this is what's so good and right about her. And really begin to open the eyes of the people around you, because you know how it is. You work with people, or you live with people, and you're like, you're annoying. You bug me. All of your little things like grate upon my soul. You know what I mean? Like,
What do you mean? I don't even know that.
I may have called Allie from time to time and be like, so this is what's going on. What is happening
that?
here?
Yeah.
on? Right? But I just think that is probably like one of my favorite things that I get to do is to go, I want to help you be known so that you function really well as a team. Because when we can understand, like, not only what's good and right about ourselves, but when we understand, oh, this is what's good and right about the people on my team, it really shifts the dynamic.
Yeah.
I mean, the statistics with this stuff, with the Clifton Strengths, is that there is a 71% decrease in attrition in companies that work. So 71% of employee loss. You're not losing people. That's a huge number. I think it's 6 times the engagement out of employees, 3 times reported job satisfaction. And the magic voodoo here is that people are known and people are seen. And that's really a basic like human need and desire, is like, I want to show up and be known for who I am.
Right. And it not be used against me.
And have it not be used against me. And also, of course, like we were saying before, like, not be weaponized. Well, this is just what I am. It's my strength. So this is the only thing I can do. No, baloney. That's not what that is. There's sometimes when you're going to have to do stuff that you don't like doing, that you're not good at doing. But if you can begin to go, okay, I'm going to delegate the most of that stuff out. And I'm, instead of trying to force myself to just get better at stuff I don't do well at, I'm going to try to delegate it and try to focus on the stuff that I do amazing at. And
sometimes you just have to move. It's just a matter of moving that thing that you hate doing to the beginning of your day when you have the very most energy.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Right.
There's a good book called At Your Best, or Do Something Your Best. I know, my fellow input strength.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
All
I love all the
resources,
books.
please.
All the books, all the
Yes.
things.
Give me all the things.
Okay, speaking of that, I think we should do a little tiny bit of that. Because Allie, you know my strengths. Grace, what are yours?
What are your top 5?
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
And then just choose
remember.
one.
L, Grace.
I don't know.
Well, you have input.
No, you know what's like messing with me right now is at work we do widget.
Okay.
What am I trying to say? Working Genius with Patrick Lencioni.
Yeah, I love him.
And so I have all of those in my head right now, and so I'm like, I know those. I can talk about which ones I am there, and I know my frustrations.
Mine and then see if it sparks anything.
Yeah.
Have you done this?
No.
Alex, I'm going to make you do it because now I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a link. So I want to talk to you about your strengths.
Okay.
About what's good and right about you.
So mine are.
She goes.
So I'm going to win
See
you
the
over,
tension.
Alex. I'm going to win you over to my team.
No. I have no issue. I really don't have any issue. I think I have a bend towards self-glorification. And so for me, looking inward to like identify what I'm good at is hard for me, because I lean towards, because I struggled for so long with rejecting the gospel and rejecting the help that the helper, like,
yes,
I lean towards, I can do it myself.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's hard. I have to be very intentional with this, and I have to come to it hand in hand with Jesus.
Absolutely.
Because if I don't, it's a slippery slope for me. Because I can
know
get
yourself.
real self-righteous about, I am
yourself.
good at this, and I am going to step in it, and and then it can get unhealthy.
But you know what? Like, that is the place to do it.
Right.
Like, that's the posture of our heart that all of us should have. That's not unique to you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we all should be we all need to be needy with Jesus with this stuff. Because it's really easy. And we've touched on it a little bit, but like, there is such a deep culture now to like, well, I'm a number. This is my number. Like, this is just who I am. Or even in my workspace, you know, I'm like, well, I'm a galvanizer. Like, what's up? That's what I do. And so and then we end up getting pigeonholed, which like, I was actually pushing back on this yesterday at work. I was like, yes, some of you are wonder, you're inventors, but sometimes you need to buck up and tenacity it.
Yeah.
You got it. Sometimes, even though you're not so good at the admin stuff, all of us here need you to be.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of that's where I think it gets a little wonky, is like, yes, we have been given God-given gifts and strengths, and then there are also places where it's like you got to put in the work.
You're still gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're still gonna do it. You still have to show up and do things that nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to clean the bathroom. Come on.
Yeah,
Because
come on.
I think too, like a lot of this, what I love about like strengths and even Enneagram too is that these aren't necessarily things that you have cultivated.
Yeah.
They are things that naturally fall out of you.
Yes.
And so there's like it takes away some of that performance, at least as I like approach it.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, these are the things that are going to be easy for me to get better at.
Yeah. That's your easy button.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's not really like about me. It's just kind of what naturally happens. So I can't really take ownership of it. I can't be like, look at this great thing I did. That requires almost no effort.
Exactly. Well, you know what I always tell people ask me about strengths and I'm like, okay, the easy version is this. I have a Queensland healer at home who I love so much. Oh, I just love my dog. Okay, dog in the whole world. I just want to eat him up. Okay, and
That's how I feel about Reagan.
oh, I love it. So,
Did you just say that's how you felt about your baby? Yeah.
Reagan.
Wyatt is my baby.
Specifically
He's my
Reagan.
fur baby.
Okay, sorry everyone else. Love you so much.
Sorry.
You're too old now.
Oh, I just want to no. Yeah, exactly. It evokes that out of me, right? And so he's a cattle dog. Well, we had sheep and goats for a long time, and if he got out near the sheep and goats, immediately they'd be like in the corner. He'd be looking at me like, look what I did, Mom. Okay, because it's naturally in him to do that. Now, if I sent him away to a school for dog herding, he'd come back in 3 months a complete expert, right? He would, because that's naturally in him to do. It requires almost no effort. Now, if I sent him away to mouse catching school or like bird catching school, he'd probably be gone for 2 years and still come back to me, F-, D-. He would never really exceed in that. So that's what I love about what you were saying, Shanah, is that it's like, okay, it's not that I'm going to use this thing that I know about me that's, for my own glorification or like I'm just so amazing. No, this falls out of me naturally, just like herding sheep falls out of Wyatt's DNA naturally, because that's what he's made to do. Yep. And so it's like, okay, well, this is what I'm made to do. How can I do more of that? And how can I increase that in my day-to-day things so that I can be the very best version of myself? And why do we want to be the best version of ourselves? Because we want to be the best reflection of who Jesus is.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I want to be the best at my job. I want to be the best at listening. I want to be the best at affirming. I want to be the best at encouraging and teaching and stepping into those places, because I know that's how Jesus made me, and I want to be like him in those ways, because that's who he is, right? Yeah, and so it's like I want to do that. I want to lean into those things, and too many times I think in our education system, I know for me, it's like, okay, well, these are all the things you suck at. This is what you're bad at. You better go get better at. Well, yes, and kind of like what you're saying, like nobody wants to maybe be the tenacity. Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
But, right. Maybe nobody wants to do that. Or maybe someone is wanting to rather be an inventor or wonder or galvanizer or whatever. But sometimes you do have to do stupid, hard things you don't like.
That's right.
But if you can be mindful and go, okay, well, but how can I do more of what I am good at?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, if I can put 10,000 hours into this, man, that's going to be a real win, because I'm going to actually get to be the best reflection of Jesus and the Holy Spirit in this way than in any other way.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, this conversation is getting so good, and we hope you're loving it. When you engage with what we do, it helps us bring even more amazing guests and topics into the car. So get involved. Your support means everything to us. Continued prayer, leaving us a review, answering our poll questions, or subscribing to the pod all add up in a huge way. We are so grateful to get to do this. Consider supporting us in a financial way through a monthly donation. Stick with us and find out more at the end of this episode about how you can get involved. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, again, for those listening, I hope what you hear is that piece of what's the response, what's the result, and what are we doing this for, right? And so I mentioned it earlier, but I kind of just want to touch on it again. If you find yourself in a position or a place or a workforce or a social group or consuming something that is glorifying this outside of the end game being glorifying our Creator, and you want to follow Jesus, then there's a better way, right? And so that's what we're trying to talk about here, and that's what that's my journey specifically, and I still am working on it and working with Jesus in it, and I I feel passionate about this area, because it's near and dear to my heart, and it's where I feel like the Lord grabbed me from.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think those are those warning signs, and
Totally.
I'm grateful, Allie, that you have this, because honestly, I don't know many people that operate from this lens in these departments, and I think people can get so. I know for me too, I can get weary of like even investing in that part of myself because I'm nervous. You know, like I don't know. It just it sometimes feels like it can contradict.
Or it feels like you're being prideful.
Right.
Or it feels like you're like walking in like,
Right.
like you're saying, like self-glorification.
Yeah. So I really
Here's
love
the
it.
thing with that is that if you are doing this with the wrong motives,
Yep.
like if you're doing it to like just become awesome,
Yeah.
it will never be enough.
Right.
Yeah.
It will always leave you wanting. If you are doing it so that you are a clearer window so that Jesus' light can shine through you and so that people can see your good works and praise your Father in heaven, it will always be fulfilling even when you fail.
Yes.
Right.
Amen.
That's right.
Heck yeah, dog.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Dude,
and
I love that.
and you'll still like the things that God has are engraved in you that do fall out of you will still be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't go away because you messed up.
It's who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's who you're hardwired to be.
Mm.
Yes, regardless of
Yeah.
performance or failure or success.
And I love to work with students. FYI, it's like probably my very favorite thing to do.
Oh, she's going to work with my student.
I know. I can't wait to get my little hands on them.
We
gonna
gave
be
a
so
gift.
fun.
We gave a gift of strength finders to our oldest, who just turned 17, and Allie's gonna meet
Oh,
one-on-one and
Yes.
just say all the best things about my babe.
Oh,
Yes,
I love
exactly.
that.
Well, I feel like it can be so eye-opening, especially even in the dynamics of your family relationships. I can't wait to go, okay, guess what? This is what your mom's like, and this is like what her strengths are, and this is what yours are, and guess how those interact, and guess how those play out.
Dang.
Because like we use it a lot at home between my kids, and we talk about the shadow sides sometimes of
Oof.
those things showing up, like
Woof.
and you know, how does that feel? And you know, we try to name what's good and right about each other at home quite a bit. Like it's awesome. Like the other day I was getting really frustrated with like trying to figure out this project, and so I have learner and input, so I feel I have this like audacity that lives inside of me that says I can literally do anything. I can learn anything.
How hard can it be?
How hard can it be is my famous
Has been
Literally me.
tagline.
so
Literally
many
me.
times.
Yes, I'm like, I love it. I want to know. I'm sure I can just watch a YouTube video and like go to Home Depot. I mean, how hard can it be, right?
Yep.
And so I'm trying to figure out this whole situation, and I'm doing it, and I'm using my input. I'm reading all the things I can, and nothing is working. And my oldest goes, man, Mom, this must be so frustrating right now to your input and learner because you're not able to like actually solve it.
Bless.
You must be so frustrated right now on your learner.
Is
It's
she
what's right about you.
like-
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
sorry, it's who?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know which one of your kiddos said this, but are they being like legitimate?
No,
they're not being
absolutely.
sarcastic?
No,
Okay,
not at
that's
all.
so-
Like
I
super
love it.
loving to me.
that's so
And
kind.
I'm like, thank you. It is frustrating to me right now in my learning, but it actually helps me understand like why am I getting so ticked right now? It's because that's getting frustrated inside me.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
like with you, Shani, like when I know that where somebody else it might feel kind of like annoying or like Princess and the Pea kind of level annoyance if they feel misunderstood or if they feel something might not be 100% fair. But I know for you, if you don't, because you have consistency and because you have communication, to not be understood and to perceive something as unfair is going to feel like Chernobyl has rained
Absolute
down
death.
upon your life. It's going to feel like absolute death, murder me now. All my blood is coming out of my body. It's pooling, I'm going to die and be resurrected like a zombie and then die again. I mean, it's like, it's DEFCON 5
It's the worst.
for you in
Wow.
that moment, right? And so even to understand that in a family, like, oh my gosh, my mom is going to lose her absolute mind. So it's like stuff like that is, I think it's really helpful because you can begin to understand, oh, okay, this is how we fit together as a body. This is how we fit together as a family.
Yeah.
This is how we can really strengthen each other. So, and I love it for students too, because then I can go, this is what's good about you. Let's aim your life at that. Let's point your life at doing more of that. How can you do more? How can you do more of what you're good at? Like, how can you do more education? How can you aim your career paths towards this that's going to be your easy button? Because a lot of times people, when they're really good at something, they just feel like, well, isn't everybody? Well, doesn't everybody do that? Because it feels so second nature to them. So,
Well, yeah, I think it even teaches us how to respond when we get pushback.
yeah.
Because like I love the example that you just used. Like because when I feel misunderstood and unheard, my gut reaction is like, oh, well, you must not understand me. If I am clearer
Let me say it
and
again.
say this in 5
Say
other
it
ways,
12 more ways.
then you will understand and you will agree with me because I've obviously thought this through.
Yeah.
And that makes the other person feel unheard. So now knowing that, I can go in and say like, okay, like I feel this in my body, in my sternum to say more words to you.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to squeeze my hands really tight and let them go.
Yes.
And then I'm going to say, tell me more about that because I want to make you feel heard.
Right.
And dude, it just lowers the temperature in my relationships, in my work, in my home.
Kind of take the charge out,
Yes.
I think, a little bit. When you understand a little bit more what's happening from that perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, because we will always get pushback. Either it'll be
yes.
very passive pushback, like, oh yeah, we're fine, everything's fine. Or it will be aggressive pushback of like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grace, we need to get out of this area. It's making me sad that I don't live here.
I know,
Oh,
right?
man, the house
You
is
can
so
remedy that,
beautiful.
girl.
I cannot.
You can. It could be
Sorry, I
you.
don't have $1 million. I'm
I'm sorry, you don't
For
too.
facials and for this neighborhood.
We could all get facials
For
and sit in your
plasma
mansion.
like, this is just making me sad.
Isn't it so beautiful?
It's too beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
I know. I'm headed back
Who's
to
having a
Cuppa now.
party right now?
All
What's
right,
going
all
on there?
Looks like that's
There's a party going.
Melissa's.
We did not get invited.
Yeah. Huh. No party for us.
Anyways, I'm just kidding.
Rude.
We have one more question
Okay.
that we want to land the plane with, and then do our last 2 questions.
Okay.
So 3 more questions.
Yeah.
All right.
This last question, Allie, to kind
Yeah.
of like pull it all together. I feel like
Okay.
you've already answered, but I'd love you to just even further clarify.
Okay.
Because your job as a strengths coach
Mhm.
is like you said, you've got a foot in the nonprofit world,
Mhm.
foot in the for-profit world. How have you seen God use what you bring to the table in both of those worlds, or just overall? Like, what is it that you see the hand of God doing that you are just like, it's such sacred, holy ground? Share that with us.
I think the best thing I get to do where I see God at work is when I get to speak to people's identity. And I mean, that's a powerful space to step into, because I think that's where most people are most attacked and most beat down and wounded and broken. And when I get to look at someone, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're 15 or 65, 75 years old people that I've gotten to work with, and I get to speak to their identity like, this is so incredible about who you are. This is so amazing about how you've been created. And I get to really begin to build somebody up and encourage them. It's like, I mean, what else can I do? What else would I rather do? People pay me to do that? You got to be joking me, man. It's incredible because I get to see how God speaks truth to people about it's a tool, right? StrengthsFinder for me is a tool to get to speak positively to people's identity.
It's good.
Yeah.
So that's why I love my job.
Yes, I feel like because our culture is just trying to find identity in every single thing.
Yes.
So to be able to identify that, yeah, gosh, such a gift.
It's fun.
Such a gift.
It's fun.
I love it so much. It's been really sweet, and I feel like, honestly, I love the direction the conversation went of like, actually, like, what's the purpose? Like, we talked a lot about purpose. Like, why even get into this work?
Yes.
Which I feel like leaves a lot of room for, if you are someone who's listening and is like, okay, I want to hear more about what it looks like with my strengths and my weaknesses. Like Shani said at the beginning, like, we'll link Allie, all of her spaces and places, Clifton Strengths, Gallup, all of that, so that you can really start to do the deep dive work. Or if you're more like, what is this? What? Like, I'm actually, my head's as big as the clouds. Like, I don't even know where to start. She could probably help you with that
Absolutely. I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Yes, exactly. So I think that there is something for everyone here in the conversation, whether you like need a more to identify your weaknesses and be more aware of them, or if you like genuinely want to like build up and flourish in your strengths. So sweet. Okay, we have 2 last funny punny questions for you.
I'm ready.
Yes, we love a good pun.
Okay,
So, because we're in the car, side by side convos and just car puns in general.
Okay.
So like as you are leaving the house, what is one thing that you cannot leave the house without?
A good lip or two. I need a good lipstick. I need a good lip gloss. I cannot leave
Oof.
my house without several options
Preach.
because I feel like it doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter how over your day you are. If you can just put on a good hot lip.
Yeah, you got
Great.
lip
I have to
on.
have my lip bag. I have a lip bag.
I gotta have it.
Me
I've got so
too.
many lippies, and I'm like, where is it? Where is it?
I'm a lippy girl
I am a lippy girl, and I'm usually obsessed. I like watch the
in a very
TikToks.
lippy world.
Yes, I'm a lippy
world.
girl in a lippy world.
Oh my
Fantastic.
gosh.
It's fantastic. Yep.
Yes.
Love it.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, lips, absolutely.
Fun.
Oh,
Lips
that's
all day.
awesome.
Lips all day.
That was natural.
Okay, the last one is what is fueling your tank right now? It could be something silly. It could be, a study that you're doing because input. It could be a lot of things.
My stack of books.
Yeah.
What is fueling what's giving me life and joy?
Me life. My mom
Okay,
movie.
all right.
I haven't told-
It's a little bit, so now that I am, it's been a few years of me being separated and divorced, I am entering into the dating world.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I was so tempted. I'm so glad you're saying this.
Okay,
so
which is
excited.
a whole thing.
Oh my god, it's a carpool theology exclusive.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh. when
she
you
walked
are-
me through her online dating
Oh,
photos.
it was so
Oh
bad.
my gosh, there's so much to be desired there,
It
guys.
was literally, it's basically if you want encouragement to stay married and to work on your marriage, feel free to come over and look at a dating website when you're in your 50s because
Yeah. Also, I feel like there are dollars to be made of guys,
big dollars.
here's how to take a profile pic.
Yes, it's like, oh my gosh, the fish selfie, the bathroom selfie,
The fish.
car selfie, the gym
The
selfie.
fish.
Is
Oh, no.
literally 95 to 99% of all of these. It got
I'm
to the point
crying.
for me where I felt like I'm keeping this subscription for pure entertainment because I will sit there on the couch with my children and we would swipe and swipe and we would laugh. And I'm like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to have a fight? These guys with their faces, with their hats and their sunglasses and their frowns. I'm like, what are you trying to attract? I don't even understand. So,
I'm so sorry. But wouldn't I'm just curious. So, if you came across a profile where the guy had a really good photo,
yes.
would we
Yes.
what crosses my mind would be who's taking these pictures?
Exactly.
Are we taking ourselves really seriously? Or
Exactly.
we're getting
as a matter-
professional headshots for our Bumble or whatever. I don't know what.
As a matter of fact, that's exactly what happened. I did come across someone who took very good pictures of themselves, and I was like,
And they're taking themselves seriously.
I was
love this.
what is happening here? This person,
They stood
first
out.
of all, understands the female gaze, that I am not interested in you looking like you want to have a fight with me. Do you understand? For real. I'm like, all these pictures are very nice of you. I'm like, oh, right swipe that for once. Because most of it's a left swipe. Left swipe that. Left swipe that. Left swipe that was 99%. And then I came across this picture of this man who was like, oh, who are you, sir? I'm just, I'm going to now message you. And it's it's both this feeling of excitement and extreme anxiety. I go between these two poles. So I actually am dating Good Photograph Man right now.
Good photograph,
Good photograph man. So I guess what's fueling my tank in this whole world is that the whole process of dating and getting myself back out there in the world, it's for me, when I go to more of a meta place of why is this giving me life? It's because it's I'm not going to die. I'm refusing to die in this way. I'm not letting this go. I'm not going to lose hope that God has good things for me, that this could be a part of my life again, that I could have a partner, that I could maybe be loved in that way. That's going to make me cry. But really, it's I'm the act of bravery of trying to put myself back out there in the world again is it's me not giving up. And so it's a lot of fun and it's also a lot of terror. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, it's been a journey. So
I think that's the best feeling to take. I think.
Literally,
Yeah, that's amazing.
the best, and I want to weep now.
Done.
For
That's
you.
the last one we'll ever do.
Yeah. No one else will ever answer the question again. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Allie, thanks for being in the car.
absolutely.
Yay,
Thank
this
you
is
so much
great.
for all of just listening to me. I really
Stronger
appreciate it.
already.
Oh, I'm so glad.
That's it, right
Yes,
there.
that is
okay,
it.
we're
That's
gonna
the whole
link
point.
you in all the places and all the things.
Okay, thank you so much.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 You've been listening to Carpool Theology. We hope this episode was encouraging, fun, and challenging for you as you walk with Jesus in your community. If you loved what you heard today, we invite you to join our amazing, awesome, beautiful team of monthly supporters. For as little as $3 to $5 a month, you can support Carpool Theology. We're committed to bringing authentic and honest side-by-side conversations about faith in a fun setting like a drive around town. Click the link in our show notes or on our Instagram page at carpool-theology to start supporting us today. Thanks, fam. We'll see you in the car.